Good morning, Store Nation. So, I wasn't actually going to do this episode, and I thought, what the hell? I tell you everything anyway, so why not? So, you'll hear, by the way, that my throat is a little bit croaky. Man City played last night against Real Madrid, and I had some beers. So, my throat is worse for wear. Not great when you a podcaster do 12 podcasts, 10 podcasts a week. I do. Anyway, so today, what we're going to talk about is why I declined the Billionaire. So, if you're a regular listener, you'll know that somebody contacted me. Dan Bradbury messaged me and called me and said, "Listen, Dan Bradbury, by the way, is my business coach. He called me and said, Dean, would you be interested in partnering with a billionaire? He wants to invest in your company and take it to the moon, basically. And that's what you want. You want to build £100 billion business. This guy will get you there faster." And so I was like, yeah. And went down to London. We had a meeting, and he valued the company at 4.5 million. I think it was more. And basically, Dan asked me. He said, right. So so we had a conversation. He said, "Look, the deal is this with this billionaire, and by the way, he's worth more than the CEO of Apple. He is minted. He's got a massive house, as you'd expect. He's got somebody, a butler, who helps you in the house. And like, holy shit, this is crazy." And yeah, it was just an unreal experience meeting a billionaire. And I've done a podcast, by the way, about the 3 things I learned about a billionaire, because I think there are some lessons. There's always lessons to be learned from everybody you meet, especially a bloody billionaire. My throat, Jesus. And he was going to offer me, so he was going to put £10 million in the company for the next 2 years. He was going to open 10 sites, 5 sites a year, and then was going to do it again and again and again and again. And my job would literally be a team around me, but my job would be ultimately to find sites and keep on top of the reports. So basically what I enjoy doing. And then so I was like, so afterwards I was like, Dan, I ain't so keen. I don't really know. He goes, "What's the problem?" And I said, "Well, it feels like I'm just getting a £10 million overdraft, because when someone buys into your business, normally what happens is you keep that money in the business to expand the business. And it's very, very rare that you actually get to take the money out." And he goes, "Listen, Dean, if it's not for you, just ask for everything you want. Because then if he says no, then that's absolutely fine, because you didn't want it anyway." So I was like, okay. And so he goes, "Go away, think about it, and email me everything you want. And then what I'll do is I'll tell him, and we'll go from there. If it's a yes, it's a yes. If it's a no, it's a no." And then so I said, "Well, I want the money out. I want the money. I want to pay my mortgage off. I want to pay my dad out. I want to do all this." And so I sent it across to Dan, thinking, that's the end of that. And the billionaire said, "Yeah, all right, that's fine." I was like, shit. And then at the back of my mind, I always knew I didn't want to do it. And I I knew I didn't want to do it, but my dad owns 25% of a business. He's 70 years old coming up. And so it'd be nice to get him out of a business, get him out and give him that money so he can enjoy his life. And bearing in mind, by the way, I want to just put out there that my dad lives in a £2 million house. He's not short of money, but he have more money. He'd have more money to, and he'd have excess money, if you like. Because what's the point of having it when you're dead? You don't really. So that was my whole thinking behind it. If I can get my dad out, then brilliant. I can pay my dad off. So that was my why. However, after speaking to my dad, I realized that he's not actually that bothered. And so as soon as I heard that, I knew that I didn't want to do it. I went on holiday. I took a bit of time out. I went for a walk on the beach, beaches, and I realized that I didn't want to do it. And the main reason that I don't want to do it is because I don't. This is going to sound pompous. I'm just going to take a swig of tea. I don't like being told what to do. I never have. I never will. In my diary, if I've got a meeting, if I've got something, if I've got to be like today, I've got to go and sign some forms at solicitors. I don't want to do it. Why? Because I have to be there at that time. I like open space. I like my diary. I get to pick and choose what I want to do. And with an investor, I'd have somebody to answer to. We had to sit down and we had to say, at what point could he replace me? Because if I wasn't performing, then he has to be able to replace me. So I was thinking like 25% of revenue to EBITDA, which if you're in self-storage is crazy. That will never, ever happen. We're currently 58% or something like that. So it'll never, ever go down to 25%. And so I was thinking, well, I've got to perform. I've got to have a board meeting. I've got to have meetings with this guy. He's putting £10 million in. He's paying me over £2 million to have my shares. He'd be only 49%, by the way. I'd be 51%. But it's a lot of responsibility. It's all right losing my own money and fucking up on my own money, but it's another with somebody else. And ultimately, this is the crux of it. It would mean that I'd have more responsibility, which means I'd be away from home more, and I wouldn't have time with my kids because my responsibility would be finding the sites. Finding 5 sites a year is tough, especially, in decent locations. It's, I mean, Armadillo, Big Yellow, Safe Store, they have a team and they don't open, well, maybe they do, I don't know, but they will struggle to open 5 new sites every single year. And so that intimidated me a little bit. And it meant that, like I said, I'd be going out and about on the road, looking for sites, looking for locations. And it means ultimately that I'll be away from home. And for me, my kids are 7 and 8 at the minute, soon to be 9. And I want to be there. I want to be that part of their growing up. And I feel very, very lucky and very, very blessed that I'm in this situation that I can actually take them to school. I can take them to the clubs. Like yesterday, I finished work at 4 o'clock and we went to the beach, me and the 2 kids, while the wife cooked us tea. And it was great. We skipped stones and stuff. And it's 25 minutes away from my house. And it's awesome. I love that. And for me, the age they're at, I feel lucky and blessed that I can do that I can spend time with them, that I can take a bit of time off work. I've got no one to answer to. And all of a sudden, that would ultimately change. It would change my lifestyle. It'd change my relationship with my kids. It'd change how much time I can spend with them. And for what? I questioned what I was doing it for. I was on the podcast. And the host asked me, he goes, "What are you doing it for, Dee? What are you doing it for?" And I didn't have a good answer. He goes, and he asked me, "When's enough enough?" I was like, "I don't know." And he goes, and all of a sudden, it's like, it hit me. It probably can actually hear it on the podcast where I just like, I don't actually know the answer to your question. And it worried me that I didn't know what was enough. It worried me I didn't know what I was doing it for. And I live a very nice lifestyle. Why do I want to, or why do, and by the way, I want to get to that next level just for ego, I suppose, and just for me, and because I also think that health-wise as well, the more you earn, the more you can look after your family. And for health, if there's anything wrong with my kids or me or wife or mum, dad, we can fly off to America, fly off wherever we need to go because we can pay for the treatment. And so we're in a very, very fortunate position. And it sounds corny, but I really do. I like helping other people. It's something that lights me up. I don't talk about it too much because I get embarrassed about it. I do a lot for charity and stuff. And so I want to do more. I want to be able to make a difference in people's lives. So yes, I do want to build that £100 million company. But the difference is I want to do it on my terms. I want to do it as and when I want. I want to make sure that we expand when the seasons tell me. I've just gone through a season where work has come secondary. And for whatever reason, I haven't been as motivated to do certain stuff. You'll notice on holidays, I stopped podcasting. I didn't podcast on my holidays. Why? Because I was in a different season. I was in a season of just relaxing a little bit. Because I do feel like it does take a lot out of you. Does the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations of work. I was talking to my friend yesterday, because it drives me nuts now that everybody thinks that I've got it easy. They see me walking to Beverly and walking for a coffee and coming back. But I'm literally on Bank Holiday Monday, for example, we had no reservations. All I could think about on Bank Holiday Monday evening was no reservations. I haven't got any reservations, which is absolutely stupid. Yesterday, we only had 2 reservations for 2 25 square foot all day. So in 2 days, we had 2 reservations, 50 square foot. And I was like, and it's nonstop. It's nonstop. It takes a toll on you. And I know that I'm different to other business owners where I constantly think about it all the time. And I always tell you and teach you guys to take an area view, take a step back. But it's so difficult to do when you're in. And so while I've been in this season of I don't know, where I haven't been expanding too much. I haven't been thinking. I've tried to take a step back from work. I've tried to take a step back and think, right, health and fitness is more important at the minute. So I've been able to go for runs. I've been able to go to the gym, etc. And now I just feel like it's percolating up where I want to and need to focus more on business and spend, like, I'm up really early this morning doing this. And then last night I was up late doing I've got a newsletter coming out, a new newsletter, motivational newsletter every single day that's going to come out. And I'm really excited about that. And so I can feel it percolating up. I have new ideas, new businesses. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready to go again. And so I'm in the season of development, season of business, where before I was in the season of health and fitness and mindset and looking after myself. And the great thing is, I can choose the seasons I'm in. I don't have to. How I think and feel inside dictates to me what season we're in, and I get to do that. Where as if I have somebody else, if I work for somebody or work with somebody else, then I don't have that. I have to literally be in the season of growth all the time. And yes, in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, we could sell it for an amazing amount of money. And Dan put it to me one way because, Dean, with this billionaire, here's what you're going to have. And it's going to be £100 million, say, for example. Without the billionaire in 5 years, 10 years, then it's going to be £20 million. There's £80 million difference there. And so you're leaving for half it, £40 million, so you're leaving on the table so much money if you don't do this. And yes, that's so true. However, that's if we all have the same criteria, if we all have the same metrics of money is the goal, that success is money. I don't think success is just money. I think there's so many formats of success to other people. And I choose happiness. I want to be happy. And I don't know if I'd have been happy to be told not to hold what to do, but felt I need to go and expand because that was a deal, open 5 sites. So I would feel a pressure to do that. It'd take me away from my kids. It would mean that I can't have my seasons. It's literally all about growth and pushing the business forward. It would literally be nonstop. And I don't think I'll have ever any regrets about this decision. Although it's stupid because it's a holy grail, an investment from a billionaire. It basically wipe up all my debts. All my debts in my business are gone. All my personal guarantees gone. My mortgage gone. There's so many advantages to partnering with this billionaire, and I appreciate that. And the stress, it'd be a different kind of stress because there's no personal guarantees and there's no mortgage for myself, and so it would give me a different lifestyle. However, it would probably mean that I can't take off every kid's holiday. Every kid's holiday, I'm off work because I want to spend time with my kids. I don't think they'll want to spend time with me forever. And so therefore, I know I'm in a very, very fortunate position to be able to do that. And so almost choosing work over that and choosing money over that would be a kick in the teeth for the lifestyle I've been given, not given, but created, if you like. And I do think I'm so fortunate. And it's, yeah, I don't want to take that for granted because there'll be people listening to this who have to go to work, who have to do this. But there'll be people listening to this thinking, fucking hell, Dean, I've got to go to work 9 to 5 every single day. I've got to do overtime. I've got to work weekends. And I get that and I appreciate it. But I feel so fortunate that I get the choice. And by the way, as a business owner, you never switch off. You might not be in the office, but you're still thinking about it. You're still looking at figures. You're constantly thinking of a personal guarantee on the house. I'm signing another personal guarantee today. You're constantly thinking about that. So you might not literally be at work, but part of you is always at work. And so there's a lot. I'm talking to another business owner, and he said there's a lot to be said for a 9 to 5. I want to give it all up and go 9 to 5. And I was like, whoa, that's a big step. So yeah, I do appreciate that. I'm very, very fortunate to be able to do all this, and me, I'm basically explaining to you. I've had a brain dump basically. Hopefully it's been succinct. That's not even a word, is it? I don't know. Hopefully it's all been connected. Okay. But yeah, long story short, I choose lifestyle. I choose happiness. I choose my kids, and I choose my time rather than money. And some of my friends think I'm absolutely fucking bonkers. Some of my friends think it's a correct thing to do. Either way, when you make a decision, it doesn't matter what other people think. It matters about what you think and what's right for you, because nobody knows exactly how you think and feel. Nobody has the emotions you do. Nobody knows what you are going through and what you are seeing. And so therefore, yes, it can give you advice, but you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. You can't make a decision based on other people's advice. You've got to do what's right for you. And yeah, I know this is right for me. And so I just wanted to update you guys. If you're expecting me to shell out £10 million in the next 2 years, opening new sites here, there, and everywhere, it's not happening. And also, there'd be a question mark about this podcast. Would I still be able to do this podcast? I don't know. I know other people who took money from people, and they've had to be closed off about the information they give out. They're not allowed to give out any information. I know that firsthand. And so would that be the same for me? I don't know. It's something we never even talked about. But it might have been the situation. I love doing this podcast. I absolutely love it. Anyway, I've been babbling on, but that's where my head's at. That's why, excuse me, that's where 100% I am. And so I wanted to update everybody on the situation and let you know why I haven't took the billionaire's money. Seemed a nice chap. Seemed like every concern I had, he was like, "Don't worry," and he basically, he said, "I was worried about what happens if it don't work out," and he said, "I've had failed partnerships before, it happens," and so it was nothing to do with him. It's not you, it's me. And yeah, I just didn't think it was right for me. I'm not saying in the future, in later in my life, I won't take investment. I might well do, but it's got to be right. And I don't think the situation, the timing was right for me. And I'm happy growing steadily. We've got 4 sites now with 50s with solicitors at the minute. Whether it comes to anything, oh no, it's donating, is this the other site? And we're sending out letters again asking to buy another self-storage facility. So we want to buy another one before September. And then hopefully maybe one in winter. And we're looking at container sites at the minute. So we're growing, but we're growing on my terms. We're growing steadily. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. And so please, I'm at the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh shit, people are going to be judging me because, he wants time with his family. Lucky him to have time with his family. Yeah, but hopefully people see if it was in my situation. I want to get across that. I know I'm very, very fortunate. I'm really, really fortunate to be in this situation, to be able to choose family. And I'm not saying that anybody else is bad by working, when I've got to work, because ultimately before I was in this situation, I was working 15 hours a day. All I was doing was working. When I started Willoughby, all I was doing was working because I had to start a side hustle to make sure that I paid for Willoughby because I couldn't not. So I was doing a betting guy. I was getting up at 5 every single morning. I was going to bed God knows what time, and I was getting up, and I had this other wife when my Zach was born. It was just wet. So I appreciate and understand that I'm in a very fortunate position now. And so I wanted to get that across. All right, guys, girls, I love you. I appreciate you. That's where my head's at. That's what I've been thinking. And ultimately, I've just been completely honest. I hope I offended anybody in this podcast, but I've started this podcast by wanting to be completely open and honest with you guys, and I want to continue doing so. So that's exactly the reasons why I didn't choose to take the billionaire's money. All right, love you. Appreciate you. I'll see you soon. Bye.